What's up YouTube? This is the General, and in the video today I'm attempting to fix a super powerful card so that it's still strong enough to play, but not so overpowered as to become oppressive. The card we'll be looking at today is the ever-polarizing Maxx C. This most controversial card in its current form reads as follows. During either player's turn, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard. This turn, each time your opponent special summons a monster, immediately draw one card. You can only activate one Maxx C per turn. I won't go into a lot of detail as to how and why this card is broken and overpowered. There are plenty of great videos out there that explain just that. I particularly like the Dual Logs' video regarding it. That video is actually the inspiration for this video. I will, however, explain briefly what makes this card so oppressive. Basically, modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Is so fast and so reliant on special summoning a ton of monsters in one turn that Maxx C basically forces your opponent to end their turn or else give you a ton of card advantage. Now the thing to keep in mind when creating an errata for a broken card is that you want to do everything in your power to preserve the essence of the original card. You don't want the new effect to feel like a totally different card from the original. Otherwise, you may as well have just made a totally new card. So what is the essence of Maxx C? When I think of Maxx C, I think of one simple phrase and all the implications that come with it. Am I taking the Maxx C challenge? The Maxx C challenge means asking yourself three questions. 1. My opponent is going to draw for every special summon I make, so how many is too many? 2. Can I summon enough times to deck my opponent out? Or can I summon enough to OTK them? And 3, is it worth trying to play through it? So what can be done to fix Maxx C without ruining it? Well, the first thing to do is simply give it a cost. Exactly what that cost should be, I'm not entirely sure. I'll explain my thoughts on this a little later. Secondly, one of the biggest reasons Maxx C is so good is because its effect creates a lingering condition that causes you to draw every time your opponent special summons, but the card and the effect only activate once. Your opponent only has one chance to respond to it. So a good way it could be balanced is simply make it so your opponent has a chance to respond every time you draw each time the effect is applied. To both of these ends, I present my attempt at fixing Maxx C. During either player's turn, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard and banish one card from your hand face down. This turn, each time your opponent special summons a monster, immediately activate the following effect. If this card is in the graveyard, draw one card. If this effect is negated, banish this card. You can only activate one Maxx C per turn. The biggest change here is that there is now a cost. This errata requires you to banish a card from your hand face down, which makes it nearly impossible to ever access that card again for the rest of the duel. With this cost, Maxx C becomes a -1 in card advantage unless your opponent special summons a monster and causes you to draw, at which point it becomes a net 0. Only after the second special summon does it become a +1. The next big change is it's no longer a lingering effect. The effect of drawing a card actually activates after each summon, which gives your opponent ample opportunity to respond to it. But the most impactful change you'll notice is the effect only works as long as the card remains in the graveyard. This means a simple DD Crow can prevent it from activating, as well as a plethora of other cards that can remove it from the grave. On top of all that, it also banishes itself if its own effect is ever negated. This errata would make the card imminently stoppable, and it's debatable whether or not it's even worth playing. However, it still does everything it's always done. It still gives your opponent the choice of whether or not they want to take the Maxx C challenge, and that still forces them to ask themselves largely the same questions it always has. But this time around, your opponent actually stands a chance of winning said challenge, whereas the original, they basically had no chance at all, unless you had the out immediately upon activation. And let's be honest here, the biggest problem with the Maxx C challenge was that the one taking it really had no chance of winning it. I believe this errata fixes that without overcompensating. And those are my thoughts on how Maxx C could be fixed without ruining it. If you have any other ideas, be sure to let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear them. If you enjoyed this video, I really appreciate a click of the like button, and if you want to see more of what I do around here, check out my other videos and maybe consider subscribing. Until next time, this is the General, signing out.